City! Strike at Bosworth Weber in week 3!
Did you say airship accident?
That's a whole day's product lost.
I'm awfully sorry, sir. I'm not used to riding in the city. Smells good.
Constable Roberts, everything all right?
Good morning, sir.
Is it?
Honestly, not so far, but it can only get better from here, right?
I appreciate your optimism. And I'm glad to see you're still trying to ride your bicycle.
Well, after this, I'm not so sure I ought to be. Second accident this week.
Perhaps we should get you a bell. I'll take you over to DeWaller's bicycle shop as soon as you've had a chance to go home and change uniforms.
Do you have any extra uniforms at the station? I'm not quite ready to get on the bicycle yet.
I presume you're both aware of the strike at the Bosworth rubber factory.
Of course.
It's been some weeks, hasn't it?
3, which is, I suspect, why Chief Constable Brackreed has asked I send constables to keep order on the picket line.
Well, there hasn't been violence.
No, but the Board of Control is eager to bring an end to the disruption.
Afraid it will gain wider support as the Eaton strike this spring did, no doubt.
Do you think the chief constable hopes that a police presence on the picket line will intimidate the men back to work?
That's the meaning I took, but I find strike breaking abhorrent.
Good for you, Inspector.
You feel differently, Detective?
No, I agree with you. But I do feel this strike should be resolved, and quickly. The city's experiencing all sorts of shortages, from shoes to medical supplies.
I understood there was some work ongoing in the factory.
There is, but delivery drivers are refusing to cross the picket line in order to pick up shipments.
I've never crossed a picket line either.
That may be, but I fear I can't dodge the Chief Constable's request forever. Well, perhaps not even the end of the day. Inspector Choi? Hello, Miss Cherry. What can I... I'll send someone immediately. Well, one of you is going to have to cross the picket line. A body's been found at the factory.
You take this one. I have... Right. Good.
Toronto Constabulary, let us through.
They killed him.
Who's they?
The people who own this damn place.
Move aside, please.
Detective, you're finally here. Did you take the long way round? His name was Jay Sturgeon. He was the man leading this strike.
Who found the body?
I did.
You're here covering the strike for your paper, The Sentinel, Miss Cherry?
Every day. My readers are very engaged. I'm the only journalist the workers trust to get their message out.
What message is that, miss?
A member of the constabulary with manners. Where'd they find you?
Chatham, yes.
The workers' message, Miss Cherry?
That they are overworked and underpaid. Mr. Sturgeon was leading the charge for unionization.
And I take it things have been fraught.
Mr. Bosworth hated Mr. Sturgeon and everything he stood for. So, yes, I'd say things had been fraught.
Perhaps he'd given up, decided to wave the white flag.
Never.
How can you be so sure, Miss Cherry?
The Jay Sturgeon I met was not a man to give up.
Rigor mortis has set in, meaning that Mr. Sturgeon died late last night. Judging by the position of the body, he fell from a good height, possibly the roof.
So he was murdered.
Who would have wanted to kill him?
You may have manners, but you're not a good listener, are you? The owner wanted Mr. Sturgeon out of the picture.
Miss Cherry, do you really believe that Mr. Bosworth would go so far as to kill the strike leader?
I believe a capitalist will go as far as need be to protect his business interests.
Right, you can take him now, please.
This tragedy will not deter us. Jay Sturgeon may have been our leader, but our struggle goes on without him. And I would be honored to pick up the torch for Jay!
fear we may be in for a challenging few days.
Can I help you?
Detective Murdoch, Toronto Constabulary. We'd like a word with Mr. Roy Bosworth, please.
About the accident?
We've yet to determine the cause of death.
I see. Well, Mr. Bosworth is unavailable.
I'm sure he's a very busy man, Miss
Berger.
Miss Berger. But this is a police matter.
Be that as it may, I'm afraid my answer remains the same.
As does my request.
He's meeting with customers at a pub down the street.
Perhaps we could access the roof and have a look in the meantime.
I suppose that would be all right, but you'll need a key. Wait here, please.
That's quite a bit of security for a key.
Mr. Bosworth runs a tight ship. He's the only one with access to the roof. Follow me.
If there's only one key to the roof, then how did Mr. Sturgeon get up there?
Very good question, Constable. There's no fire escape. Sturgeon must have accessed the roof the same way we just did, but without a key. How?
Maybe that Miss Berger let him up. She has access to the key.
That's one possibility. Among many, what we need is evidence.
Sir. Maybe Mr. Sturgeon was up here to hang this?
But something or someone prevented him from doing so. Perhaps whoever made this second set of footprints.
Those sure don't belong to Miss Berger.
No. We need to find out who else knew about Mr. Sturgeon's banner. With me. Pardon me. May I ask you a few questions about Jay Sturgeon?
Barely knew him.
Was he here at the factory last night?
No way he'd step foot back in here.
Why do you say that?
Sturgeon made the life of every guy in here harder, thanks to his pointless strike.
Would we call the push for better working conditions pointless?
What good is better working conditions if you gotta pay some fat cat union boss to get them?
Hoses aren't gonna move themselves, Pharaoh.
Gotta get back to it.
Your name, sir?
Noel Bishop.
Mr. Bishop, you're still here at work?
You're a bright spark.
I take it you didn't agree with Jay Sturgeon's views on this whole strike?
He wanted us to risk our jobs for the strike, but he didn't have hungry mouths to feed at home. I'm here because I have to be.
I have been waiting on that order of rubber soles for weeks now, Bosworth.
Till I find drivers willing to cross the picket line, I can't help
I have already paid for the product. You are in breach of contract.
I'm not. Your contract stipulates...
Excuse me.
Can't you see I'm occupied?
Detective Murdoch, Toronto Constabulary. I'd like to ask you some questions about the death outside your factory this morning. We can discuss it here or in private.
Oh, yes, of course. Tragedy, that. Gentlemen, a moment. Roman, come. I hope you don't mind, Detective, my son Roman. I've got him learning the business. Now, what can we do for you?
What can you tell me about your dealings with Jay Sturgeon?
I presume since you're here, you've already heard something of them.
It's my understanding that your relationship was adversarial.
Jay Sturgeon was a good worker, until the day he thought he could tell me how to run my business.
Can you account for your whereabouts last evening?
Of course. Roman and I left the factory at 8 and went directly home.
Our household staff can confirm. We were there all night.
Now, is that everything?
I'm afraid it isn't. Jay Sturgeon died from a fall off of your factory roof.
That's impossible. The only key is in my father's office.
And somehow Jay Sturgeon ended up on your roof nonetheless.
I don't know what to tell you. If Jay Sturgeon had a key, I don't know how he got his hands on it.
Sir.
Go away. We won't be intimidated.
I'm not here to intimidate anyone. Don't you all want to know what happened to Jay Sturgeon?
We know what happened. Bosworth killed him.
Hey! Are you coppers really taking this seriously?
Of course we are, sir.
I'll help you however I can.
Yes. Thank you. Right this way. What can you tell me about the activities of Jay Sturgeon last night?
You mean the banner?
You know about it?
Of course. He'd been working on that thing for days. Couldn't wait to see the scabs when I got to work and saw it hanging this morning.
How did he plan to get on the roof?
With the key?
The only key is in Mr. Bosworth's office. Did he steal it?
Workers did that a long time ago.
I'm afraid I don't follow.
Bosworth doesn't allow breaks, and we can't smoke inside. So, a couple years back, someone made copy of roof key, so we'd have place to grab quick Gasper.
Detective Murdoch.
Mr. Dewala, I was just speaking with someone about your shop.
Well, I'm pleased you remember it. It's been a long time since you visited.
Yes, I have not been cycling nearly as much as I would like.
Oh, driving more?
No, I just haven't found the time to give my bicycle a proper tune-up.
Well, why not bring it by the shop and have me do it?
That's very kind of you.
I know that you'd like to do it yourself. But if you can't find the time...
Perhaps you're right. I was going to bring a colleague by your shop tomorrow anyway.
Perfect timing. I'm having a sale on all my bicycle supplies.
Terrific. Tomorrow it is then. Thank you.
Tell me your day's been fruitful.
Yes and no. Bosworth and his son Roman both have means and motive.
That sounds fruitful.
But they both claim that they were at home at the time that Sturgeon was killed.
Can anyone confirm that?
Yes, their maid can, but she's traveling this morning. I've been unable to reach her. I'll try again later.
Sirs, I found something.
Yes, Constable.
There's a second key to the roof. A copy made by the workers years ago. Sergei Dimitrov told me this would have been the key Sturgeon used.
Well, if that's the case, why did we not find it on his body?
The killer must have taken it.
Well, we oughtn't jump to conclusions, Inspector.
I'm pleased that you are thinking critically, Constable Roberts, but the inspector's logic is sound. Any of the suspects in this case would be motivated to have that key at this moment. Bosworth to confiscate it.
The workers to keep it a secret.
Exactly. If we find that key, we will likely find the killer.
We need to question the workers.
Yes, but perhaps not directly. I don't think they'll speak to police.
What do you propose?
We need a man on the inside, but both Constable Roberts and myself are known to them.
I think I know who we can send in, but he's not going to like it. You only look the part.
A well-scrubbed scab?
I understand how you feel. But remember, you're pursuing justice for the man that started that picket line.
I thought this was a bicycle shop.
Well, it was.
Detective, you came. And you brought your colleague.
Mr. Dewala, I thought this was always a bicycle shop. When did you start selling automotive parts?
Oh, just a few months ago.
Oh, but you love bicycles.
I love getting around quickly. And in that regard, an automobile wins any day. They're the future, but I certainly have time to tend to your bicycle.
I don't suppose you have any bells left?
No, I don't believe I do. Wait. Is one right here? Huh? Take this one.
Oh. Isn't that your bicycle, Mr. Dewala?
Yes, I won't be needing it anymore. Like I said, autos are the future. And that bell is yours just for 5 cents.
Yes.
How about you, Detective? Can I interest you in anything other than a tune-up before I close up?
Well, I could use some tires. But I was hoping for new ones.
I'm certain I have some in the back. Just leave it to me.
And here you go.
Thank you.
Thank you, Mr. Douala.
My pleasure.
Very nice man.
You seem like a good man, Mr. Nagy. We need your kind around here. Please. Miss Berger here will assist you with your training.
Which department?
Department? Oh,
Hoses, tires, moldings.
whatever you deem best.
Very well.
Oh, and, Mr. Nagy, don't let the men outside fill your head with nonsense. We pay fairly for honest work.
Right.
Let's see. Hoses it is.
No, that will be all. Thank you. I've confirmed both Roy and Roman Bosworth's alibis.
Neither is our man?
Let's hope Detective Watts can make some headway at the factory today.
Perhaps we can as well.
Sir?
Miss Hart presumed that the handkerchief found on the body belonged to Sturgeon, but his wife claims otherwise.
Meaning this likely belonged to the killer.
And if that's the case, there may be evidence as to his identity.
I don't know why they started to do with me. Hoses are hard work.
Oh, I'm not afraid of working hard. Oh, I'm guessing it's been harder since the strike.
You're not wrong there.
You think it'll end anytime soon? I heard the strike leader died. Well, I don't mean to pour salt in a wound. You would have known him too, right? Must have been quite a shock.
What the heck's going on here? No time to lean, men. I'm not paying you to chat. I'm paying you to work.
Yes, sir.
Yes, sir.
Damn lucky to have a job.
Strike's got him on edge. I hear he's on the verge of going broke if this ain't settled soon.
You ever consider joining Sturgeon on the picket line?
I've been working in factories since I was 12 years old. My advice, keep your head down, do the work, pick up your pay every Friday.
You agree with what the picketers are after, right?
Didn't say that. Look, you want my advice? Just focus on the job and stay out of trouble. Sturgeon made waves, and look what happened to him.
I'll be right back. Those gold ones?
They are.
Mind if I bum one? They're so hard to find in Canada.
Yeah, my sister sends them from France.
Lucky man. You know a good spot to light up without the boss's scene?
Yeah, on the roof. You'll need a key, though.
Don't suppose you'd be willing to share that, too.
Yeah. At the top of the stairwell, there's a loose brick with an X carved into it.
Right.
Appears to be rubber dissolved with benzene.
Along with grease, it suggests the killer worked on the factory floor.
The stitching along the edge is rather distinctive.
One of a set. Perhaps Detective Watts can find another one like it in one of the workers' lockers.
It's possible.
Even if we don't find a match, it's evidence we can keep in our pocket.
Very good. Very good.
Tired of doing the work of two men, Bishop.
Who knows what to tell you?
How about sorry for starters? You said that things would change with Sturgeon out the picture.
It's only been a day. Give it time. We can talk about this later. Let's get back to it.
Sure thing.
And it is important, more than ever, that we remain stalwart to our cause.
This seems to be becoming a habit.
Mr. Dewala.
I was about to telephone you. Your bicycle is ready and waiting at the shop.
Oh, very good. Thank you. What brings you here?
Oh, Mr. Bosworth is a supplier of mine. You?
Oh, a case, I'm afraid. I understand it's been very difficult for some of the factory's clients given the strike. I hope it's not affecting you too badly.
It has been hard. I'm fairly new to the automotive business, and Mr. Bosworth has had me pay in advance. Now I find I'm paid for stock I haven't received yet.
You must be hoping for a speedy resolution to this strike, then.
Well, I've spoken to Mr. Roman Bosworth, and he's confident the strike will end in a day or two.
Yeah, let's hope so. Now, if you'll excuse me.
Bishop quieted Farrell the minute he saw me, but they were definitely discussing Sturgeon's death.
Yes, Mr. Farrow is the one I was speaking with yesterday. He wasn't shy with his opinions then either. Have you been able to find the second roof key?
Not as yet. It wasn't where Farrell said it would be.
He likely didn't know it was missing.
I agree. Bishop's our best suspect. I'll try to find out more information.
Detective Murdoch? What are you doing here?
Just making sure we haven't missed anything, Miss Berger.
Alone? I thought I heard voices.
Oh, I was going over things aloud. I find it helps me to work things through.
Very well. Have a pleasant day.
And you, Miss Berger.
I should get back, see if I can find the missing key.
Oh, and keep an eye out for another one of these. It was found on Mr. Sturgeon, but I believe it belonged to whoever attacked him. And finding another one like it may point us to the killer.
Understood. See you after the whistle blows, Detective. Hey, Nagy. Just missed Bosworth Jr. shouting at Ernest to carry more hoses. Oh, really? Yeah. You think he'd take it easy on the old man? Ernest has been around since Roy Bosworth was a junior. It's a shame, really.
Here come the scabs.
Just try to ignore him, Bishop.
Hey, Bishop, you lousy scab!
Had enough of this!
All right, just take a breath. That was completely unprovoked.
Unprovoked? You called the scab!
Huh? What would you prefer? Lobstick? Stop where you are, right now! You're coming with me!
You should be arresting him!
Come on!
Good day, Mr. Dewala.
Oh, Detective Murdoch. Good morning. I'll go and fetch your bicycle. All right. Well, I do believe that these new tires should be sufficient.
More than sufficient. Thank you. What do I owe you?
$1.50.
Oh, Steeper than I recall.
Well, it's been a while since you've had a professional tend to your bicycle.
Indeed. And you are?
Thank you, Detective Murdoch. And I do hope our paths will cross again. And if you or anyone you know shall require automotive supplies, then...
You'll be my first call.
Thank you.
Have a good day.
You as well.
Why is one of my workers in your cells and not Sergei Dimitrov?
Mr. Bishop instigated the violence. Sergei Dimitrov
is dangerous and unpredictable. There's no telling what he'll do.
My men have been at the factory for 3 days. Dimitrov's given no hint of being dangerous.
I'd caution you against dismissing my son's concerns if you value your job, Inspector.
I'm simply relaying the facts. Speaking of facts, is it true that you provide neither the time nor the space for your employees to take breaks?
Every man is allotted 15 minutes for lunch.
Is that all? In a 10-hour shift?
More than what they got when my father ran the factory.
That's no excuse. I suggest you remedy that issue immediately.
We're not breaking the law?
No, but you're inadvertently putting the factory at risk.
What do you mean by that?
I can't divulge any details, but it would behoove you to allow your employees to break in a safe and non-flammable area.
Are men smoking on site? Those fools. A stray ember could torch the entire factory. I thought you said you could run the place. I want that Dimitrov arrested. Or do I have to call friends on the Board of Control?
Why are you asking about Jay Sturgeon?
Did you or did you not tell Francis Farrow that things would change once Sturgeon was out of the picture?
Yeah. Yes, I said it. I meant it. I thought the strike was sure to end without Jay. Doesn't mean I killed him.
No. But this does.
Where'd you get that?
This is the worker's copy of the rooftop key, is it not?
It's a key to the roof, all right, but it belongs to me.
Mr. Bishop.
I'm not lying. A few of the senior guys had keys of their own.
Just how many of these keys are there?
5, maybe 6.
Would any of these senior staff have shared their key with Mr. Sturgeon?
No way. None of them are pro-strike. Oh, if Jay was on the roof, he got up there using a shared key. You didn't ask for my 2 cents, but I'll give him anyway. For my money, it's Dimitrov that killed Jay.
What makes you say that?
I saw them arguing the day before Jay died, that's why.
What were they arguing about?
Who would lead the strike? Jay and I didn't see eye to eye, but at least he had the workers' best interests at heart.
And Dimitrov?
He only cares about 2 things in this world. Money and making a show of himself.
Do you believe what Mr. Bishop said?
Every lead should be investigated.
Detective Murdoch.
Miss Cherry, we don't have time for your questions right now.
You will, when you see this. Care to tell me why you sent a detective to work undercover?
That's confidential.
It won't be when I put that photo on the front page of tomorrow's Sentinel.
Why would you do something like that?
The public has the right to know what the police are up to. That's why.
Miss Cherry, what do you want?
Justice, of course. And an exclusive interview with you.
Not while the investigation is ongoing.
But once you've made an arrest?
I will answer a few questions on one condition.
What is it?
You tell me what you know about Jay Sturgeon's relationship with Sergei Dimitrov. Have you seen anything that would suggest that they were at odds?
Of course not. They were comrades, brothers in arms.
Even brothers fight sometimes.
Would you happen to know whether Mr. Dimitrov is currently at the picket line or not?
As a matter of fact, I do. What on earth would you do without me? Don't answer that. He's at the bar by the factory.
Of course, I didn't kill Jay.
Do you have an alibi to back up that assertion?
Is my commitment to the cause not sufficient?
Unfortunately, it's not, Mr. Dimitrov.
Well, I don't know what else to tell you.
Need to go see man about the horse.
Keep an eye out. I'm going to check his jacket.
What for?
A roof key? Oh.
It's a lot of money for a factory worker on strike.
And I think I know how he earned it.
You think Roy Bosworth paid off Sergei Dimitrov to kill Sturgeon?
It's the only logical explanation for the money in Dimitrov's pocket, given the note.
It's risky on Bosworth's part. And why would Dimitrov accept?
Money's a powerful motivator.
I suppose corruption isn't limited to capitalists?
Not in my experience. Do you think you could search Bosworth's office for any evidence of the payoff?
I'll do my best. Oh, I'm exhausted. You know how these workers do it day in and day out.
Why would you do this? Did the strikers pay you?
What? No, I'm a police detective. Call the fire department now.
What are you doing?
I need to search Bosworth's office.
You can't go in there.
This is urgent, Miss Berger.
It's locked.
Give me the key or I'll break the door down.
Miss Sherry, have you seen Detective Watts?
No, why?
I fear he may be inside. Oh.
Berger, you were inside? Yes, with the detectives.
What? Are you all right?
I got the ledger, but we were nearly trapped. It was only thanks to Miss Berger. I made it out alive.
Roberts, look into getting medical help for these two.
Yes, sir.
May I?
I'm afraid not.
That ledger may contain crucial evidence.
So the detective said. And if they're breaking the law, then I won't be a part of that. But I need to see it for myself. This is private property, and I take my role at Bosworth Rubber seriously. So, I would be willing to look for suspicious activity in the company accounts myself and report to you anything unusual I find.
Are you sure you wouldn't like some tea, Miss Berger?
I'm fine, thank you.
And you're certain you're familiar enough with the company books to recognize any fraudulent entries?
Of course. Mr. Bosworth is very meticulous, but if he's done anything untoward, I'll find it.
And if she doesn't?
Miss Cherry has agreed to share her photos from the last few days.
I found something. A suspicious entry was made Monday.
The day before Jay Sturgeon was killed.
There's a withdrawal noted as being for office supplies, but I buy those with petty cash.
How much was it for?
$25.
Along with a note, I found $22 in Sergei Dimitrov's pocket.
I say we found our man. Or rather, men. First thing tomorrow, we'll speak to Dimitrov and Bosworth.
Mr. Bosworth, Jr.
Excuse me?
It was Roman, not Mr. Bosworth, who made the fraudulent entry. You can tell by the handwriting.
That little pipsqueak was behind all this. Leave him to me, Murdoch.
Please don't send me to jail.
That all depends on you telling me the truth, Roman.
All right, fine. I did pay off Sergei Dimitrov, but I swear I never thought he'd kill anybody.
Keep talking.
All I wanted him to do was sideline Sturgeon and take control of the striking workers himself.
Let me guess. The plan was, once he did that, he would work with you to end the strike, no matter if it benefited the workers or not.
We had to start filling orders, or we were gonna go bankrupt.
Let's say I believe you.
You must.
Why didn't the strike end after Mr. Sturgeon was killed?
Dimitrov double-crossed me. He took my money, got rid of Sturgeon, and then refused to negotiate.
You knew all this, and yet you never came forward.
I'm frightened for my life. Sergei Dimitrov killed a man. He probably set fire to the factory, too. If it wasn't bad enough to welch in our deal, he had to go ahead and set my inheritance up in flames.
A man was killed, and you're worried about your inheritance.
I'm sorry, I didn't mean it. Look, none of this is my fault.
On the contrary.
Where are you going? Please, I need protection from that man.
You'll get protection in the cells.
Roman Bosworth is afraid of me. He believes you killed Jay Sturgeon.
Conniving little. Like I said yesterday, I did no such thing. You should be looking at Roman.
Roman Bosworth paid you
to talk to Jay into stepping down, which is why we fought. I was going to do what Roman had asked, but I suppose you grew impatient.
You seriously believe that Roman Bosworth is a murderer?
I do. That's why I kept the strike going after Jay was killed. How could I negotiate with Roman after what he... Jay was my comrade.
A comrade you were prepared to sideline for $25.
I needed the money. But I swear to you, I would never have hurt Jay, let alone kill him.
What about the fire, Mr. Dimitrov?
Nothing to do with me. I have alibi. Any number of people can attest to it.
Sir, Mr. Dimitrov was telling the truth. Patrons at the bar saw him right up until the moment the fire started.
And Roman Bosworth is still a suspect in Mr. Sturgeon's murder. But he's not stupid enough to burn down a factory he's set to inherit.
No. So no one witnessed anyone going into the factory before the fire started. What's this? Is that a plank accessing the roof? I saw no plank when I was up there. Look at this image Miss Cherry took before the fire started. No plank. Then there is one. And then, as the smoke began to billow out of the building, no plank. Meaning?
That's how the arsonist got into the building.
I'd like to get these to the station house to test for finger marks.
Sir?
This is the same gray substance that we found on the killer's handkerchief.
But if that's so,
Then the killer and the arsonist are one and the same. Wait a minute. What is this?
What is it, sir?
These aren't new tires at all. Mr. DeWalla simply painted over my original tires with some kind of rubber. I know who killed Mr. Sturgeon.
Sir, look.
Notice her foreclosure.
The strike must have finished Mr. DeWalla's business.
Mr. DeWalla, stop! Stay on him. Yes, sir.
There's no way out, Mr. DeWalla.
Damn this car and damn the Bosworths. It's all their fault.
You're coming with us to the station house.
That was some mighty fast riding, sir. I don't know how you got ahead of me.
Took a shortcut. One only a bicycle could take.
So much for the triumph of automobiles.
I believe this is one of yours. also found this in your shop. Finger mark evidence confirms that it was recently in Jay Sturgeon's possession. I know you killed him, Mr. Dewala. But what I would like to know is why.
I just needed to get my tires.
Via the roof?
I guessed it was the most surreptitious way to enter.
But you ran into Jay Sturgeon.
I didn't expect him to block my way. We were on the same side.
There was a physical altercation.
I told him I needed the tires that I've paid for. He said nothing could leave the factory as it would weaken the striker's position. We argued. It got physical. I didn't mean for him to fall off the roof.
Did you mean to set fire to the building?
You didn't believe the strike would end soon. Despite what Roman said, for my business to survive, I needed to get out of my contract and find another supplier.
But neither Roy or Roman Bosworth would allow it.
I had to force their hand.
By setting fire to their factory.
You have to understand, Detective, I'm a victim here too. Squeezed between two opposing forces.
Be that as it may, you will have to pay for your actions. I imagine Roman Bosworth was still fairly angry when he was released from our cells?
Oh, yes. But I've dealt with enough men like him before not to rise to the bait.
The factory was condemned, but the Bosworths plan to rebuild.
Perhaps this time they'll include a break area for their workers.
Well, Miss Cherry pledges to keep up her campaigning for better working conditions if they come back.
I know one who won't. I put in a word for Miss Berger with Chief Constable Brackenreed. She will be the city's first female morality officer.
Oh.
You take bright minds where you find them. That's how the world progresses. Don't you agree, Detective?
Yes, I do.
Thank you. That is going to make for quite a front page tomorrow. Now, for that exclusive interview you promised me, Detective.
Yes.
So, will you be operating out of Station House 4, Miss Berger?
I'll have an office in Station House 1. It's larger and tidier.
Is everything all right?
I'm not yet sure what it is, Detective Watts, but there's something unusual about you.
Is that a compliment? Or...